Hello and welcome to Hamer Reviews. My name is Christopher Hamer and today I'm reviewing, or comparing rather, two sets of headphones by Cambridge Audio. The Melomania Touch series and the Melomania One Plus. Now the One Plus was a bit of a surprise. I thought that the Touch was going to replace the One series and that was that. But just a couple of weeks ago, Cambridge Audio surprised us with the release of the One Plus series, an updated version of the Melomania Ones. So what are the differences, how do they compare, and which should you choose, especially considering that currently there's only a £10 price difference between these particular headphones. So let's start off with how they feel and look. They both come in black and white, which is great, gives you some colour choice, though no other fancy colours, though personally I don't think that's an issue. They both are USB-C charging with a charging case and true wireless in-ear headbuds, so there's no wires involved. The Melomania One Plus series follows very closely the design of the One series. That's not a bad thing at all. The One series were a good set of headphones that were well reviewed. I used them briefly, like over a year and a half ago, so I can't remember very clearly what they were like, but at the time I thought they were quite good. Now, the One Plus I like very much. I like the design, it's very clean, it's quite aesthetically pleasing, and they come with a mix of silicone and foam ear tips. Now, with silicone ear tips, if I put them into my ear, I find they stick out a little bit further than the foam ones, and as a result, they actually touch the outside of my ear. Now, I don't usually find that's an issue, but with the One Plus, there's actually a sharp plastic edge around the outside of the headphone, which means that rubs against the side of my ear and becomes uncomfortable after about half an hour to an hour of wearing. That's a real shame because it does detract away from the enjoyment of those particular headphones. Now, the Melomania Touch series are very different. The design of these is very much a wingtip design, and it's a much broader headphone, so it doesn't stick out as much. It fits further into your ear, and it uses the silicone wingtip here to really hold itself in your ears. The result is they don't stick out quite as far, but more importantly, it's an extremely comfortable wear for long-term use. Also, as a result of those little wings, it's pretty much impossible for them to fall out while you're running or doing exercise. I certainly haven't had any issues as soon as I got the right wingtip and ear tip combination. Now, these don't come with foam ear tips, however, I do find the silicone ones suffice on the Melomania Touch series. The charging cases are a little bit different as well. So the Melomania One Plus has a very small charging case, which I think is great. It's nice and small and compact. It's smaller than the AirPods case from what I can tell, and it takes up very little space in your pocket. You really wouldn't notice that that's there. Although the Melomania Touch series does have a more premium feeling case, which is rather than hard plastic, sort of nice soft leatherette on the outside, which I do really like. It's a lot larger. Now, you'd think that that means that it gives you twice the battery life or something like that, but in actual fact, battery life is within 5 hours on each set of these headphones, so you'll get 45 hours out of the One Plus and 50 hours out of the Touch series. I honestly don't think there's a huge amount in this. Personally, I prefer the One Plus case just because it's smaller, but the Touch case is a bit snazzier and nicer, so I think that's really up to personal preference. So I've mentioned battery life. It's up to 50 hours and 45 hours respectively, though the earbuds themselves both get the same amount of runtime, which is 9 hours per charge. That's more than ample for most people, and just plugging them into the case will charge them up fairly quickly, so if you do go through those 9 hours, you can charge them up for a couple of minutes and get a decent amount of playtime back as a result. They're both controlled with the Melomania app. Now, the app is pretty good. I think there was a bit of a baptism of fire for Cambridge Audio with the Melomania Touch. There were some firmware issues and pairing issues. I haven't encountered them with the One Plus, and since the Touch were released, I actually think they've updated the firmware on both and the app to provide a much better experience overall. So I wouldn't worry about issues there. The app is great in terms of being able to change the equalizer settings, being able to change other settings such as transparency mode on the Touch series, which we'll get into in a moment, and I definitely recommend you download it. It also has a low power mode, which extends the battery life to that 50 hours and 45 hours respectively, though you will lose high quality audio. Now, slight caveat to that, I can't really tell the difference between high quality audio and normal audio. I'm not quite sure what they're doing there, but personally I leave it in high quality audio all the time because that's where you're buying this product. Now, in terms of sound quality and general use, obviously they both have very different control methods, as is pretty much deduced by the name. So the Melomania Touch has a touchpad on the outside of the earphone, and that's capacitive controlled, so you don't need to press anything. So as you just touch the earbud, it'll change the settings, skip tracks, volume, etc. Works very intuitively. Now, the OnePlus series works very similarly, but the difference is they use a button system rather than touchpads. I honestly don't think that either is an issue. I actually prefer buttons, if I'm honest, just less to go wrong, but it's just something to bear in mind that they do use those different control systems. Of course, sound quality is probably the most important thing when it comes to true wireless in-ear headphones. And that's probably why you're looking at Cambridge Audio, or at least so I'm going to assume. Now, the sound quality of both of these headphones is honestly fantastic. I would recommend both of them at both the £120 and £130 price point. This being said, I do think that the bass of the Melomania Touch is slightly lower or punchier than that of the OnePlus. Now, there is not a big difference. It is a very, very marginal difference that I'm picking up on, but I just think it's something that you should bear in mind if you're considering these headphones. You will probably, if you're a bass head, enjoy the Touch series slightly more than the OnePlus. I did, however, find that with the Touch, I was actually changing the EQ more often to get that just right sound, i.e. the bass was actually slightly too heavy in some instances. That is not something that I felt with the OnePlus. Out of the box, they were fantastic, and I didn't need to play around with the EQ much at all to get that really nice, smooth listening point. And I honestly mean that these are fantastic with any kind of music. I've listened to a variety of music, including Radiohead, Nine Inch Nails, some jazz, some classical music, plus everything in between, and honestly, these handle all of those very well. I think you'll be quite impressed regardless of which you choose. This is the audio test of the Cambridge Audio Melomania Touch headphones. This is being used in a relatively quiet room, and this is the sound quality you get if you're using them with your mobile phone. So this is the sound quality of the Melomania Touch in-ear wireless headphones. This is the audio from the Cambridge Audio Melomania One Plus headphones. So if you're using these for a telephone call, this is roughly what you'd sound like. This is recorded in a fairly quiet room directly into my computer, so this is the sound quality that you'd expect. The Cambridge Audio Melomania Touch also has a transparency mode, and what that is it passes through audio from outside into the headphones so you can be aware of your surroundings. That's particularly useful if you're living in a big city, or if you do use the headphones whilst doing sports, and if you are going to use them in those scenarios, I certainly recommend them. In terms of which you should choose, it's a really difficult question. There's only a £10 price difference between these, and if I'm completely honest, I think that they should be a slightly bigger gap, but I think they were limited in the fact that they still actually sell the Melomania 1 series at £100, so you start muddying the waters a little bit depending at what price point you choose. Personally, I'm going to stick with the Melomania Touch series. The reasons for those is the more comfortable fit over longer wearing, and the generally just that bit more dynamic sound that I get out of them. That is not to say that I think the Melomania One Plus is a bad set of headphones, however, it's just not quite right for me personally. I'd really implore you to try and use both sets of these headphones before making your choice, because you may well find that your decision is different to mine. You might prefer the button arrangement on the One Plus, you might prefer other aspects of those headphones, so please do try them on before you buy them, or buy them from somewhere that has easy returns such as Amazon. All in all, I'm really impressed by both these sets of headphones. I think they're great value, and I think they're certainly better than most of the competition. I prefer the sound of these headphones over something like the Sony WF-1000 XM3s, or indeed Bose's latest noise-cancelling true in-ear wireless headphones. They are terrific value for money. I hope you found this little comparison useful. If you have any questions about these headphones, please do pop them in the comment section below. Equally, if you enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up. It always really helps me out. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe, as I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I see you again next time. Goodbye.